Ladies and gentlemen, it's so good to be with you today. I want to thank God for MenLEAD Conference 2020. I was looking forward to have all of you come to Yaoundé so we can have fellowship, so we can have physical contact, but COVID-19 restrictions, we are forced to talk to you via Zoom and via the social media. But still, we thank God. I first want to thank God, before I get into the topic of today, I want to thank God that you are alive. After COVID-19, you are still here. Such a blessing. The Lord has been good. So it's a reason for us to thank God. Even though we are doing this conference via the social media, we want to appreciate the Lord for his goodness, who has kept us alive and who has enabled us to have this session. I want to appreciate Dr. Madison and Dr. Claudia for putting up this conference. Thank you for choosing us to be part of the facilitators and part of the team that will facilitate this conference. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and I hope you're going to enjoy this. The topic I'm dealing with today is the pursuit of purpose and meaning. What a topic. Wow. Now, when we talk about pursuit, we're talking about vigorously following after a thing, or to give oneself no rest or no sleep until you have achieved something or realized something. Now, we're talking about pursuing purpose and meaning. And before we get into the talking about purpose and talking about meaning, I want you to make up your mind. You're going to vigorously pursue this important topic I'm going to deal with. Give yourself the tools. Give yourself the reasons to achieve the purpose and the meaning for your life. So purpose is a very important topic, especially for us the men. You know, as a man, you are called to be not only a husband, you're called to be the head of your home, and in the society at large, you're called to assume leadership positions. And the topic of purpose is so vital for us as men, because in your home, your position as a leader warrants you to get a good sense of purpose, because you have to lead your family. You have to take your family from point A to point B, and the destination must be so clear in your mind that there is no shadow of any doubt, because many people depend on the decision you make. Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory said, whenever purpose is not known or understood, abuse becomes inevitable. So understanding purpose is very vital for us as men. You see, when we're talking about, if you are not clear about where you are heading to, if you are not clear about what you want to achieve, chances are you may never get to your destination. A story goes as a man got to a place at the crossroad, and there were many choices before him, and he didn't know which of the roads to choose. And then while he was meditating and pondering which road to take, somebody else came in and saw him perplexed and offered to help and said, "Hey, can I help you?" He said, "Yes, I need your help." And the man said, he asked the man, "Which road should I choose among these many roads?" And the man asked him, "Where are you heading to?" And he said, "I do not know." And the man said, "Then it doesn't matter. If you do not know where you are heading to, every road is a good road. Every road will lead you somewhere or lead you nowhere." So purpose is vital. So you need to be clear about where you are heading to, or where you are taking your family, your company, your organization to, as a man, as a leader in the organization or in the home. You must know as a man that your position in the home as a leader of your family gives you a great responsibility to define purpose. Where are you taking your wife and your children to? Can they comfortably follow you to where you are headed to? Do you know where you are going to? Someone said a leader is not only someone who knows the way or someone who shows the way. The leader knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. So you must know where you want to go to, where you are going to, and you must know how to get to that place, and you must be able to take your people along with you. So talking about purpose, the vital question is this: can your family comfortably and honestly follow you to where you are taking them to? Imagine if your wife and children had an option, will they honestly and happily follow you to where you are in the course you are charting for them? Because your position as a head, or as a man in the home, as a man in the society, as a man in the family, is a position of one, or of a trailblazer, someone that is charting a course. And your wife, your children, your family members must submit to the direction you are pointing, so that they know where you are taking them to. So if they had an option, will they comfortably follow you? The truth is, many wives, they're grown. They have no option. They are bound to submit to some men. Some children are not happy or proud about who their father is or who the head of their home is. They just follow you because they have no option, because society doesn't give them an option. But the mastery of the topic of purpose will make you a hero in your family. If you know the way, if you are showing the way, and you are going the way, the people behind you will comfortably follow you. They will be proud to identify with where you are taking them to. They will be so glad, and it will not only bring gladness and joy, but it will bestow great honor upon you. So, understanding purpose, defining purpose clearly in your mind is very vital to fulfilling your destiny. If you do not know where you're headed to, chances are you may never get there. Now, we're talking about purpose, but we're also talking about meaning. Now, what is meaning? Meaning is the significance or the value you give to things. You see, some things may be of no value to a community, to a people, until someone who is renowned or a celebrity begin to use the same thing, and suddenly the value of that thing that was almost near zero suddenly skyrockets and gets to the place where everybody begins to look for it. Example, a handkerchief, an ordinary handkerchief in the market can cost barely nothing, and anybody can buy a handkerchief. But imagine this face towel in the hand of a celebrity. I don't know who you consider a celebrity, but imagine this handkerchief in the hands of Jesus, or in the hands of one of these football stars or these movie stars. If he wipes his face with the handkerchief, his sweat on this towel gives this towel so much value that some people in the world, because the value the person using the handkerchief, will be ready to pay thousands of dollars, millions of francs to get this towel, just because it was used by an X or a Y or a Z that they honor and respect. So using a celebrity using this face towel suddenly gives such great value and meaning to an ordinary and simple towel. See, life is, what makes life important is the values that we put in it, the values that we cultivate. And if you do not give value or meaning to life, life becomes a hollow. It becomes a vacuum. It becomes like wind blowing and passing by. And talking about meaning, I want to tell you this story. Such a beautiful story, or a touching story at the same time, that will depict the picture of what meaning or value is. It's a story of a young man. I want to call him Ngnangock. Ngnangock was born out of wedlock. His mother became pregnant of him when she was in secondary school. And because of her early pregnancy, the mother of Ngnangock had to drop out of school to take care of her pregnancy and eventually take care of her baby. So this woman, this young lady, was forced to start doing little business by the roadside. She was selling peanut by the roadside to take care of herself and take care of her baby and send her baby to school. And thank God for this young boy, such a brilliant brain, such an intelligent boy. he went to school. He was always first in his class and finished his primary school, finished secondary school, went to high school, graduated from high school. And because of his very excellent results, Ngnangock got a scholarship to go study engineering, telecom engineering in London. And when Ngnangock got to London, in one of the best universities of the UK, Ngnangock studied telecommunication and graduated as an engineer, and he was number 1 in his batch. What a performance. And Ngnangock came back to his country, was recruited by a telephone company in his country, and became a senior staff in the company, in the telephone company in his country. And he began to work. And Ngnangock now is this big man, has a lot of money. Ngnangock was brought up in a Christian home. His mother was a very God-fearing woman. After her early pregnancy, the mother of Ngnangock met Jesus as her personal Lord and Savior. And throughout her stay with Ngnangock, before he went to the UK, she tried to inculcate Christian values to this little boy. Tried to make this boy know Jesus as his personal Lord and Savior. And Ngnangock went to the UK, got into these big schools and had to rub shoulder with very great professors and great minds in the world. When Ngnangock came back, he got a big job, great contract, big salary. Life was booming for him. And then Ngnangock fell in love with this beautiful virgin girl, as young as he was. And a few months after their courtship, they got married. And after their wedding, Ngnangock and his fiancée, or his new bride, flew to the Victoria Falls, one of the 7 wonders of the world. And they spent a beautiful week of honeymoon at the Victoria Falls. And after the week, they came back home to their new home to start their new life. Their life as a couple. And their first night in their home, Ngnangock, they went to their bathroom, about to take their first shower in their new house. And when he touched the switch of his bathroom, the bulb was blown. So Ngnangock decided to go get a new bulb to come and change the bulb in the ceiling. He took a stool, and he stood on the stool. And while he was removing the blown up bulb to put up to fit in the new one, the stool on which he stood slipped, and Ngnangock fell from the stool and hit his neck on the bathtub, and he broke his neck. The young bride cried, called for help, and they called the ambulance, and they took Ngnangock, rushed Ngnangock to the hospital. And Ngnangock was in the hospital for a few days in deep coma. About 3 days in coma. The church was praying, the family was praying. They called the pastor, everybody was praying, trusting God that Ngnangock will come back to life, that nothing bad will happen to him. Even though the doctors were not giving good signs that Ngnangock was going to recover from this, everybody, the church family, where the mother of Ngnangock was going to, they were all praying. And after 3 days of coma, Ngnangock opened his eyes, kind of regained consciousness. His wife, his bride, was seated by the bed. His mother, poor mother, was there. But Ngnangock couldn't talk. And they were talking to Ngnangock, but he couldn't respond. And after a while, Ngnangock asked for a pen and a piece of paper. And they gave him the pen, and they gave him the paper, and Ngnangock began to write a sentence. And he wrote just half of a sentence. He dropped his pen and died. And what Ngnangock wrote on this piece of paper was an enigma. And Ngnangock wrote on his piece of paper, this is what he wrote. What is the meaning of life if? After he wrote that, he dropped his pen and died. The day of the burial of Ngnangock, after the pastor finished the sermon and the eulogies and everything, and now the casket was about to be taken to the graveyard for the burial, the young widow stood up with this piece of paper and said, "Pastor and honorable men of God, I will not allow you to take the casket of my young husband to the graveyard until you have decoded to me what this enigma means." And everybody was in tears. Such a pathetic scene. And the pastor took the piece of paper from the hand of the young widow and read the sentence, "What is the meaning of life if?" And the pastor said, "See, I am not God to guess what Ngnangock tried to say. It's only God that can say with precision exactly what Ngnangock wanted to say. But all I can tell you is that I know a scripture in the Bible that says, what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul?" Probably Ngnangock was trying to say, what is the meaning of life if you have a brilliant academics career? You've always been best in your profession, best at school. You were number one in all the classes until you graduated from your engineering career. What is the meaning of life if after you have gone to the UK and you've studied in the best university and you emerge top in your badge? What is the meaning of life if after you have finished your studies, you've gotten a beautiful job with a great salary, with a great career before you? What is the meaning of life if you marry a beautiful virgin woman like you are, and then someday you are forced to drop out of life suddenly? You see, the pursuit of purpose and meaning, we must know where we are headed to. And that is purpose. And we must know how to get to where we are going to. That's very important in achieving purpose. And we must be able to lead others to. That's what makes us leaders. A leader, as I said, knows the way, shows the way, knows the way, shows the way, and walks the way. But when you go from point A to point B, it is important that on the way you give meaning to what is meaningful. You give value to what has value. Sometimes we may know what we want, but what we want may not be good enough. Achieving a great career is good. Getting a lot of money, getting a great salary, plenty of money, wonderful. You may be a brilliant brain and you have great academics, great certificates, wonderful. But what is the meaning that we give to life? You see, everybody must endeavor to give meaning to life. Because at the end of the day, everything that we do boils down to life and to the meaning we give to our lives. Now, let's take it step by step. The meaning we give to life for ourselves, the meaning we give to life for the people around us. As men, the meaning we give to life for our wives and for our children. See, what people will remember you for will be the meaning you would have given to things that you did or said when you were here. You see, when somebody dies, usually, even if he was a bad person, everybody tries to remember something good. Because the good he did is what gave meaning to his life when he was here. So when somebody dies, even if he was an armed robber, he was a bad man, he was a bad politician, he did a lot of evil to people, everybody, when you hear that such and such is dead, the first thing that comes to your mind, you want to remember what is a meaningful thing he did when he was here. And usually at funeral services or at burial places, we only hear of these things that were meaningful. And in this session, I want to suggest to you that having a lot of money is good, but it will not give a lot of meaning to your life. You see, when people die, very few people mourn their money or talk about their money because their money doesn't give meaning to their life. Very few people talk about their cars and their houses and the certificates, and it doesn't give meaning to life. What the humans that will leave behind us will remember us for is the things, the meaningful things that we did and said to them. So today, as we think, as we reflect, we are walking through the process of life and see the things that will make meaning tomorrow are the things you do today. You know, I remember many years ago, I attended Hagar Institute at Singapore, and one of our facilitators said, what would you like people to say about you the day you are no more here? Or what would you want to be remembered for the day you leave this world? Because eventually, everybody is going to leave this world. Great, small, old, and young, it doesn't matter sometimes. Sooner or later, we all will check out of this world. And people will have to remember you for something. So what would you want people to remember you for? What would you want people to say when you are no more? Imagine you lying in your casket and hearing what people are saying. What would you really honestly want them to say about you? And he said, the things you want them to say on that day, maybe that day will come in 10 years to come, 50 years to come, maybe 100 years to come for the very young ones. If you want, what you want them to say on that day is what you have to be doing today. Because the things you do today will give meaning to your life the day you are no more. So, thinking about your family, what is it that you are doing now that will give meaning to your family? It could be the quality time you spend with your wife, the quality time you spend with your children that will give meaning to life, that will give meaning, that will give a sense. You will be missed by the meaningful things that you have said or that you have done that will stand behind as a legacy that people will remember you for. And the same goes for your community. The same goes for your church or your workplace or the company where you work. Someday, you're going to be missed for the meaningful things you have done. So, coming back to the story of Ngnangock said, what is the meaning of life if? And today, as we go through this session, I want you to think about the meaning that you are giving to your life. Now, life does not have meaning when your life is lived just for you. The meaning that you give to life is what you do that speaks in the life of others. What are those things that you are doing today that are speaking volume in the life of your wife, in the life of your children, in the life of your colleagues, in the life of your friends? Is there anything you are doing today that is speaking volume, that means something to them? And I want to challenge you in this session to pursue not only purpose, but more importantly, meaning. Ngnangock realized so late, unfortunately for him, that life is not only lived for oneself, for our own pleasure and for our own achievement, for what we want to get, for what we want to have. Ngnangock realized there's a greater meaning to life. And everybody must endeavor to give a greater meaning to life. So what is the meaning of life if? What is the meaning of life if today, for some reasons, everything stops? Have you pointed the way so clearly to your children that after you, they know exactly what to do? Have you been able to point out the way so clearly to your wife that if you drop out today, she will know exactly what to do? Have you been able to point out the way so clearly to your company that if you are no more today, they will know what to do? Or if you are a pastor like me, have you pointed the way so clearly to your followers, to your collaborators, such that if you are not here today, they know exactly what to do? We see around us many companies collapse when the vision bearer is no more. Many families divide, they scatter. The women, the wife, the children, everybody goes his own way because the head of the home is no more. We see a lot of fighting in families when the father is no more, because values were not so well cultivated that they could keep the family going together. So I want to challenge you. Take a moment and reflect. You see, we all wish to live 100 years, 120. We want to get old and very old. And which is a very good thing, it's a good wish, but sometimes life doesn't serve us what we want. So we must live with a sense of purpose and keeping at the back of our mind that we are here today, nobody knows where we will be tomorrow. So what you do today matters. So do not waste your time in frivolities. Do not waste your energy building things that will... See, if you build a house as big as it could be, tomorrow it could be all it will be dilapidated by your sons, or your family will divide your inheritance into little pieces, and everything that you kill yourself for while you were on the earth, tomorrow becomes the field for animals and chakras and leopards. You know, if you leave a lot of money in the bank account, in your bank account for your children, if they are not responsible enough, after a few months or after a few years, there may be no penny left in that account. Every money will be gone. Your houses will be gone. But the values that you instill, that you cultivate in your home, in your wife, in your children, in your surrounding, will outlive you. So give value to what is valuable. Give meaning to what is meaningful. Pay attention to the most important things in life. And unfortunately, you may not agree with me, but unfortunately, the most meaningful or most important things in life are not always material. They are not always in the possession, material possession that we get. The most important thing, the most meaningful things that we get in life, we find them in the values that we cultivate. The values of love, the values of kindness, the values of selflessness, living our lives to help, to be a blessing, to promote others, living our lives to build meaning in other people. Those values would outlive us. So, talking about the pursuit of purpose and meaning, I want you to pause and think, and I will be right back to exchange with you on this same topic. I'll be very pleased to entertain your comments, to entertain your questions, to entertain your opinion on this very important topic. But do not leave this session without taking a moment to reflect. Because life is a school. Life is teaching us every day. And we must know in life what is most important and give attention to what is most important. Give value to what is valuable, to what will last longer than you. Give attention and give value to what is important. So pursuing purpose and meaning as men, very crucial. If you are a man, pursuing purpose is not optional. You must pursue purpose. You must be purposeful. Because your life does not, you do not live your life just for you. You live your life for the many people that depend on you. And number one is your family. Number two is Number one is your home. Number two, your family. Number three, your career, your profession, your ministry, your business. Having all these in mind, knowing every step you make means something to the people behind you. Every decision you make speaks to the lives of the people that depend on you, that look up to you, and that are bound. Some are bound by covenant or by blood link to follow you to where you are leading them to. So it was my pleasure being with you today, and I hope to see you soon in our exchange and comment session. God bless you.